fraction charges. And now they can pressure that mid tier 1 tower.
Yeah, that's a massive kill. Slowing down the TA, slowing down that one momentum-based hero for T1 is going to put a bit of a dent on T1's progression, and that damage onto tier 1 mid is pretty significant coming through with a siege creep up. That's something that Cockle can excel out, clearing out the opposite creep wave, getting shoved out. And if they're not careful, if they start to drop some of these Cockle can excel out that skirmish, it can feel creep wave, like RSG gets that opening back. If they're not careful, if they start to drop some of these Cockle can excel out that skirmish, you just need to hit level 6. They've got RSG gets that join these back. They're not careful, if they start to drop some of these Cockle can excel out that skirmish, you just need to hit level 6. They've got RSG gets that join these back. They're not careful, if none of those levels are lining up yet, and even then, I don't think you can expect something like Gabby's and Magnus to join in early on, so you're going to have to rely on 2 supports to really make those plays. Not something you want to risk when you're up against that Venomancer and Bloodseeker combination that will punish you for prolonged fights. So to punish you for prolonged fights.
Still 2-5. Net worth actually leaning the way of RSG right now, surprisingly enough. Still 2-5. They are still doing a very decent job at that mid and safe lane for RSG. Of course, you are against the Coddle after all, so chances are XE Learn is going to overtake the net worth board very, very soon on that Coddle. Oh. Now it's kind of, I mean, you saw the nerfs come out in this recent sub patch, but they don't really mean too much. The Coddle is still a pretty busted mid hero if you wanted to run it. XE Learn still having a fantastic time on this hero. It does seem like both teams are more than happy to just sit back and farm for now. No real rush to make anything happen. I suppose they are rather passive drafts, at least for the mid game, past that laning stage, so chances are they're just going to sit back and relax for a little bit, trying to keep that farm going. Bottom lane. And I thought Cuckoo and Zephyr might try to go for MKS once again, but trouble, but gets nothing out of it. Immediately just going to TP up. Yeah, very good timing.
Something their lineup isn't really set up for an RSG. Like their TP stops are under off lane and their pause forward. The Moors or the Hoodwink aren't.
Lane.
Still working towards that meal
can be fine in the fountain. He will out-regen the poison damage.
As Cuckoo starts to go.
He's still struggling in net worth, I suppose, a little bit in this bottom lane, so you don't really mind if you only kind of just force him out. Meanwhile, Sharp on top lane, gonna get RP'd here by Gabby. But if you've got it up, why the hell not? Gabby just commits immediately, and it's right back to farming for him. On top lane, gonna get RP'd here by Gabby.
Build up, get the kill going. Whitemon already has level 6 as well, so he has the option to join in with the Solar Guardian. Would love to have Zephyr's overgrowth up, and it is. So the team fight Wombo combo is starting to... Roger, yeah, so the team starting to inch towards that point. XLR still just looking to shove down bot and prevent any sort of shove into his own tower while trying to get some chip damage done in that bot tier 1 and keep that farm game down bot. And does look like sort of shove into quick pause. The spike has been fixed. Good news, because I believe T1 has moved to a new boot camp area. Does look like, I think that's what they were talking about last time in Stockholm as well. So hopefully the connection holds up. I believe T1 has moved to a new boot camp area. I think that's what they were talking about last time in Stockholm as well, so hopefully the connection holds up. We've seen last choice.
Overgrowth, MKS gonna get caught out. He just picked up a haste rune, but it won't matter. Whitemon now on a killing spree on this Thornbreaker. Great overgrowth being committed by Zephyr. And while we're speaking about Stockholm, John, I may as well tell everybody that the moment I met Zephyr, I realized he didn't know my name. You were there.
Ah, yes, I can attest to that. Zephyr took a good full minute trying to guess who you were. It's like, I know you. Then Whitemon had to chip in. It's like, yeah, MLP, right, you. You, yes. Zephyr covering very well. So it's a good thing Whitemon took that kill.
And Whitemon being the ultimate POS 5, actually supporting his POS 4 in that situation. He's about to pick up Zephyr and, you know, just chuck him through a window if he wasn't going to remember Quick John. He's getting very, very upset. They knew your name straight away, though, which was nice. Sure, they thought my name was John, too.
Of course.
He just didn't want to say it in case.
It's just so amazing people actually mix this up. I don't have a glorious beard, alright, guys? Most people would know.
To be fair.
True enough.
I think it's going to be fine. Gabby, one of the things about the POS 1 Magnus, if you leave it alone, it's going to farm very quickly. Expect Roger might be donating to the Gabby charity here as Roger does go down. Gabby happily accepting donations is what I was meant to say. His bot lane, Cuckoo, dropping rather low on the Viper, is going to be just fine to back out as XC Learn could not finish off the job. Neither could Zhao Bon.
Yeah, just not being able to burst through the Viper. Still fairly durable enough. Power threads on strength, Wraith Band, Buckler on hand, slowly working towards that Wraith pack. So it does look like T1 just wants to mitigate that wide AoE damage coming through here. They do catch out Carl, but can't really kill him off. Neither can Carl really commit.
Well, they might be able to kill Carl off here, John. Rupture is committed. Blood Right, it's going to connect, but here comes the Solar Guardian from Whitemon to remain protected here on the TA as Roger is still trying to go, but they're going to donate another life away as the Overgrowth is going to go right through. They might be able to at least get Whitemon. In fact, Xiao Yu, he jumps in the right moment. They at least find both supports for the side of RSG. T1, they do manage to get Carl out of there. So you do save the TA, but it does cost you heavily.
Yeah, it comes at a massive cost. The two support kills are actually pretty darn big for RSG, and that's a great blink reveal from Xiao Yu. Did have a slower start, hits that timing, starts to get aggressive with his team, and now they get to invade those stacks. Carl wants them for himself, he can't really clear him.
Gets caught out with a bushback. Carl is going to give his own life away now. RSG able to take one away from them. I think Carl was just trying to get in range to be able to snipe some of those big ancient creeps, but gets nothing for his trouble.
Great punishment from RSG. Carl just being too greedy and trying to go back for their stacks. RSG find exactly what they want. Like, outside of a few skirmishes here and there, they've got pretty good map control right now. Mid-tier 1 still gone. They just need to get a shove on either top or bot to really hammer in jungle control on the opposite side. They're getting that build-up they need on the Keeper Flight. Exelern already has the full Spirit Vessel on hand. So combine that with the Venomancer's damage, it's just a lot of DOTs here.
Oh, Whitemon going to try to juke out the Starbreaker, or rather the Sharpshooter. Won't be able to do that though. Whitemon does go down. Really abusing the Rupture plus Sharpshooter. Now top lane going to be forced in here by Xiao Yu and Roger. T1 trying to get some pressure down at the bot tier 1 tower, but nothing really happening there. Cuckoo just unable to get through MKS. They might try again now with the Overgrowth up. Zephyr, he'll jump in with the Tumbler's Toy. Viper Strike committed. They've got the Bloodseeker trapped up. Surely they've got the kill, and they do. Nice setup there from Zephyr. Cuckoo will happily take the kill on the Viper. You're going to really need to make sure this Bloodseeker does remain down like that, because it does seem quite potent in the current patch.
Yeah, when you do get that running start, the hero does show up. And again, you've got that great combination of dropping everyone low with a Poison Nova, with the Gale out, and just in a sustained fight, if that Bloodseeker does live through, he's going to be a monster to contend with. Now, T1 has done a great job of buying Gabby space. He's got this blink up already, Mike, with the Echo Saber. 14 minutes in. This is a very farmed Magnus.
Zephyr, he's already getting the info for his team, though he has been caught out. So he might just drop before the team fight really starts, and will. But he knows they're in there somewhere. Gabby, he's going to make his way over with Whitemon. They do have the Solar Guardian combination with the RP as Gabby's going to jump right in. They've got the Mars trapped up. Bushwhack going to make it a little bit more challenging, but eventually they should have it. As Xiao Yu going to drop the arena, going to try and fight back. Xiao Yu may have set up a perfect team fight. They take down the Mars, but can they survive through it? Gabby about to drop, does go down. XE Learn with a double kill as Whitemon tries to run. Bushwhack won't land, but MKS eventually should be able to catch up and get the kill. Zhao Bon is the one to take it. Perfect setup there by the Mars. He knows he's going to die, but he makes sure he takes them with him.
Great turnaround from RSG to go into that TP point, help out the team. find that opportunity. This is space for Carl this time around, but that's a massive loss from Gabby. He was top net worth, he had his blink, that was his blink reveal as well. Carl being sneaky here.
Gonna try for Roger, might just have it and does. Blink away. The chase is on though. Learn trying to get within range for the solo bind, does actually land it. Carl getting knocked back, trying to go for that power room, but the bushwhack is going to cancel the TP off and they get another. I'll tell you what, John, this RSG is more like the RSG we were used to from Div 2 last tour.
They're back in form, bouncing back from that slower Pro Series start they had before the tour. Maybe just learning a lot from that time and having their confidence boosted back. T1 getting overly aggressive, overly greedy for some of these kills, are bleeding out quite a bit. RSG, their timing is kicking up here. We're not seeing any early BKBs being finished up by T1 anytime soon. Carl is working towards his own, but still lacking at least 1,200 away. A lot more time where RSG can just constantly run around with Kotal, play around with the damage they have from Roger, and tie that in with MKS and have the threat of that arena from Xiaoyu. He's been on point for RSG every single engagement, and it feels like a lot of RSG's success does bounce off from that offlane. Xiaoyu, again, a bit of a slower start up top, but just hits the blink, starts being aggressive, and they've stopped T1 from really going for any objectives. Mid is still standing well, bot is still standing well. They've managed to clear out the top tier when they're playing against a Treant Protector, and they've managed to take these early objectives. It just doesn't feel like it's going according to T1's plan. They need to now kind of start to stall out for Carl, build up on that TA, and they will smoke his 4 once more.
They're going to try again, T1. I mean, RP, not the longest cooldown in the world. Now going to make their way back over towards Xiaoyu on the Mars. We've seen this one before. This time around, though, doesn't seem like they're going to be able to catch him out in time. Or maybe they can. They still got the vision over him. They've just got to dive the mid-tier 1 tower for this if they really want it. Learn right behind him, but Xiaoyu still might be the perfect bait here once again as RSG going to throw down the arena, going to try and force the fight. Illuminate going to fly right through very, very soon. Cuckoo in trouble, is going to get taken down, it seems like eventually, and he does. But it's a 1-for-1 this time. Roger going to pop the poison over, and that's a great bushwhack out. Jump on Bond, catching up both as Carl's going to try and back out of there, but they've got another one. MKS, he's in again. Gabby does at least TP away, but Whitemon cannot do the same. RSG, you really got to give props here to Zhao Bonbon. These bushwhacks have been fantastic.
They're connecting very well together with Learn as well. The chakra to drop that bushwhack cooldown, it's an obnoxiously high uptime stun with that combination from Learn. And T1 just don't respect it. They constantly try to jump Xiaoyu to control if he gets there. Gabby gets caught out again, still has the RP ready, but can't blink. No BKB to purge off anything. The DOTs will hold him back, and a 5k lead for RSG coming into this. T1, they still have massive win conditions in that TA, but Carl's died 3 too many times. He's had 4 deaths so far in this game. And one of them from being really greedy on the Ancients. Needs so much more time to be online on that TA. BKB has to be on after that, probably the Desolator, and then you feel a lot more confident in that hero melting through and scaling into the late game. Until then, T1 have been more than happy to drag Gabby along to these fights, but it does feel like he's going to need his own BKB as well on top of that.
Xiaoyu trying to set up onto Cuckoo's Viper, but unable to catch him this time around. Cuckoo is going to be able to survive. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Carl could be in danger as Roger is trying to find a way to make the jump in, but Carl will back off at the right moment. The RSG really trying to take advantage of this powerful timing they have. Not wanting to allow anyone to get away here. MKS, though, he's getting surrounded top lane. They might try for an initiation. He has got Roger around to scout out for him on the Veno. And it seems like that's going to be enough to scare T1 away.
Yeah, I think the name of the game for T1, they are still trying to be aggressive around Blink RP, but kind of reel it back. There's no reason for you to be overly aggressive on T1 set. You can just have faith that your Magnus, your TA can scale into the late game and just keep building up. Hit those BKB timings. Start to play around with that big teamfight threat. You have so many ways of piercing through RSG's own BKBs if they do start to build into it, and just get going from there. You can't afford to constantly jump Xiaoyu. His turn potential is just way too high. And RSG, for their part, they've kind of settled in. You know, they've been taking these fights, but they haven't made progress on the map. So T1 still has their tier 2s to fall back to. They still have some control of the jungle. They still have some room to get Carl and Gabby farm. RSG will go for a 3-man smoke, though.
Cuckoo could be the target they go after. The Xiao this time does not land the bushwhack, however. Gets a sharpshooter, but that's not going to make the difference. Cuckoo might be able to set up with his team now to try and force a fight. Gabby is around the area on the Magnus if they want to try. Oh, they're going to find MKS. Gabby looking for the jump in, does commit the RP immediately. No messing around. They take down the POS1 Bloodseeker.
And that's what they need. Just reel it back in and get much better targets to jump on outside of the Mars. They managed to make it work. MKS just a bit too isolated farming. Great ward placement from T1 earlier on to give that information out for the smoke. And they have managed to successfully drag Carl away from these fights as well. No jumps so far being occurring on Carl. They've been trying to jump Cuckoo. Viper is starting to get pretty tanky. BKB coming through next after the raid pack here. So the durability is going to shoot up. And it does feel like RSG... I feel like the next 5 minutes are the most important for them. Because this is the moment where T1 starts to hit some early BKBs, start to get that build up on Gabby. Kusaber coming in, BKB done from the disassembly, working onto that Silver Edge. Like, this is the point where you start to see that potential scaling from T1. And with the early BKBs on these two cores up, that magic combination with Kotl, with the Venomancer, it does feel like it tapers off here.
Here we go though, Roshan has been started. RSG trying to rush it before T1 notices. And it seems like they might just get away with this. There is a bit of a group up coming in from T1, but they need to hurry up if they want to get there in time. RSG still going for this. Cuckoo making his way over. It looks like he's too late though. Roshan is still dropping. They're still trying to get there, but it's not going to be enough. Not quick enough at the least. Now Xiao Yu Arena is down. They caught Cuckoo on the Viper. He'll be left to die here by T1. In fact, never mind Gabby. He's going to make the jump in. They do at least find Xiao Yu as a trade. In fact, MKS, he got stunned up. But it seems like they'll accept the 2-for-1. In fact, never mind Carl. He's been caught in the backside and is going to drop. Well, it was a good trade before Carl got caught out, and well, now it doesn't look very good.
He managed to get that snipe on Roger, but he had to pop his BKB for it and fades out. They get the control back from RSG's end. T1, the rest of the team was not able to connect. And it's just a very split up fight from T1 on two fronts, with Carl sitting very far away from the team. They do at least fine too, you know, their efforts aren't in vain. They're keeping this game steady. 16-16, 3K lead for RSG is still up there. A lot of that is currently on X-Learn. So the investment is going in onto that Kotl, and we've seen the Kotl fall off towards the ultra late game. Still
oh, what a bushwhack. Top lane. Right on the edge. Catching Cuckoo. He is just going to melt. So much magical burst with this Keeper and Bloodseeker combination. Oh, Cuckoo. I mean, you land the bushwhack. It's about all over for the Viper. He's got no BKB up. There's just no chance. In for more. Xiao Yu gonna find Waimon, but misses the spear. Waimon gonna try for a TP up, might actually make it. And he does.
Oh boy, just a bit too durable now on the Dawnbreaker with the Hood of Defiance up. So not gonna be bursted down as quickly. Very important for them to get the spear as on Carl.
That's a much bigger target though. He'll get the BKB off in time. Roger gonna be dragged back by the skewer of Gabby. Does go down, but they're trying to Xiao Yu now, who does get a nice arena off. Waimon, he's the one caught out. So is Zephyr. Both supports dropping low. There goes one. It seems like Waimon has no chance of surviving as he gets ruptured up and taken down. RSG back into the mid tier 2 tower they go. T1, it just doesn't feel like they're ready to try and defend yet. The tier 2 should drop very simply, and it will. That Cuckoo, he does get bushwhacked up, but they won't go for any more. They're happy with that.
Start to threaten high ground. Next time around, T1 does lose a fight. T1's high ground defense is pretty damn good though. Overgrowth, Solar Guardian, RP, that combination works really well in such a tight choke point. They have to be careful about bleeding out one by one though.
Cuckoo gets caught out with the bushwhack again. Hands up this time. MKS. He'll get a high five. It's just not from Cuckoo.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And RSG, the regression is just kicking in. After a bit of a slower start in lanes, they figure out, you know what, we've got to play really quick. They get that Blink with Xiaoyu, they run around. The combination's still strong. T1 have to be so careful in choosing when to pop those BKBs. 2 sets of racks now kind of exposed. The tier 3's already besieged on the high ground here. Age is still up for a minute 40. A lot of time for MKS if they do want to commit. We'll take it slow. T1, they need a little bit more to come true. Carl still farming up, has the Desolator up, onto the Nullifier next. And TA is starting to look pretty scary. We haven't seen them connect with, say, a big RP overgrowth yet. RSG's been so spaced apart that T1's not been able to get the clump up to really work this team fight their way. And that is giving RSG the opportunities to still keep playing this pickoff game. They basically just catch one hero out, force the rest of T1 on top, and then just clean up afterwards while maintaining really good distancing. Gavin just has a hard shot catching big RPs.
Leipnir gonna set up onto Whitebot. He's just gonna drop instantly as Cuckoo again has been caught out on the Viper in the arena by Zhao Yu. MKS is gonna make the jump in and try, and does eventually get the Viper down. It only cost them Roger. Scabby does eventually throw the RP out, but this mid BKB trying for the skewer. He's not gonna get it. MKS somehow still alive. Walks out, but no, the side blades. The side blades connect. MKS, he had the Aegis anyway. He won't mind the reset too much, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to go high ground off this. Team 1 are successfully holding high ground, but it is costing them a lot every single time.
It's costing them way too much. They need to get this BKB up and running on Cuckoo. He cannot afford to just be bursted down from a mile away on that Viper. He needs that spell immunity to just stand his ground, you know, act as a bit of a frontliner for the team, force a response onto him, and force an overcommittal from RSG to line up for that RP, to line up for that overgrowth, and then have Carl get the damage off from there. So, we need to see if the angles open up and present themselves for T1, but RSG still looking good. 12k lead, controlling that top jungle, cutting off the farm points for T1. For T1, Carl just kind of farming where he can, hiding around, making sure he's safe, cutting through the creep wave. And the build-up is still there. Our TA is starting to lag behind in comparison to MKS and to Exilern. The 2 courts of RSG just looking bigger and bigger. They've got the Hex up now as well on Exilern. So an instant lockdown coming through from RSG to follow up on. And T1, they might get caught off guard. They rely so much on having these BKBs in the engagements. And it's starting to wear thin. Like, we're down to 7 seconds in Gabby. Carl starting to drop down to 6 over.
Doesn't connect, but Whitebot still being caught out by the spear is somehow alive. I just don't think the help's gonna be incoming. Eventually Exilern will take the kill. In fact, pings are out. They saw Gabby. I think they may have seen the Magnus. No, in fact, they haven't. Or maybe they have. Blood right. Not gonna be enough. Gabby, you'll be okay.
Yeah, they are just dropping supports in some of these skirmishes, so could be worse for T1. BKB finally up and running for Cuckoo. I have to see if that will help the cause with him frontlining for the team. Nothing to really pierce through spell immunity. So at least with 3 cores with BKBs, your Viper can start to force that bait in, but the push is still coming through steady from RSG here, Mike. Onto that bot tier 2, last outer tower for T1. And once that's gone, RSG can just constantly shove out the waves, wait for next Roshan if they wish, and start to think about their angles onto the high ground. I think the ideal for RSG going onto the high ground is, again, find a pick off, break off that team fight combination with T1, and just make it awkward to pull that RP overgrowth Solar Guardian out, because we still haven't seen it from T1. It feels like they need at least 2 of those spells to connect on multiple heroes, at least 2 heroes for Carl to really start to lay the damage in confidently here.
Exilern, that would be a big pick off for T1. If they could find it, he's top of the net worth board right now. They are 13k behind. This is the one they need. Exilern is being very sneaky in that tree line still. They're going to find him. Gabby is in with the RP, with the Solar Guardian. They have the lockdown. They'll take him out. That's a godlike spree to go the way of Cuckoo. In goes the fight though. Zhao Yu setting up Cuckoo. He'll man up on the Viper with his own BKB now. They may have overextended. RSG, I don't think this was a team fight. They're still trying though. They take down Zephyr. They've got Whitemon down. In fact, Cuckoo, he might die as well. On the Viper, he's gone. Carl forced the BKB TP out. Even with Exilern gone, they still managed to pull off the victory here. RSG, a 2-for-3 trade, but the gold change does work in favor of T1.
Still a massive kill for them to find. Top net worth on Exilern. So the bounce back gold is very, very useful for the side of T1. I think the massive issue for T1 there is they instantly burst down to Kotal, but they had nothing left in the tank to hold down the Bloodseeker to prevent Xiao Yu from getting that good arena off. Without the RP and the overgrowth and Silver Guardian, it was a bit tougher to counterfight once the commitment was there. So RSG still find an opening, make it a little bit costly for T1 to get that pick off on Exilern, and aren't fully out of the woods yet. You still need a lot more of these fights to break out. Gabby now trying to work onto the Linktons into the refresh on the mag. Double RP could be the fix. And it's not necessarily a back-to-back RP we need. It's mainly just RP on one, then if you get another RP on a single target and burst them down, that can pay for itself as well. You just need more of that BKB piercing control, more of that wide area lockdown on hand for T1. And just let Carl handle the damage. Nullifier is still a ways off here for our TA. Into the Ags next. I love that Ags here from Carl if he does manage to pick it up. Just work the side lanes, keep it shoved back against this constant shoving that RSG will do. Counteracts that Kotal travels quite nicely. Roshan will be up in 12 seconds here, Mike, so big opening for RSG. Going to get information out on the map, and T1 is fairly blind in that area. No vision out. They're going to have to get a good scan off when it's off cooldown and intercept that rush. You can't afford to give this away. It'll open up the high ground massively for RSG.
That it will. See, when they get started on that, because Roger, he is going to scout this one out for the team. RSG, they'll make their way over, and it's going to be a rather quick Roshan for them. T1, they have all their spells up, but they are not aware this Roshan is happening. No traps in the pit to give the vision. And so that will be another Roshan and shards to go the way of RSG. Make life even tougher here for T1.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Who do they give the shards over to? MKS is going to take it himself.
Fair enough. And having that additional
Radiant are scanning.
value on the Blood Rage can feel pretty good. Additional healing's always nice as well. So it does damage yourself. That's one funny thing about Bloodseeker, especially say his Ags down the line. We'll never see that, which still makes me sad because it's such a meme. He just hurts himself. This guy's very edgy, Mike. MKS. I mean,
he certainly
Bloodseeker, not MKS. You know,
yeah, you
always. Yeah. Keep yourself safe, kids. Love yourself. Don't be like Bloodseeker.
Oh, RSG. We're still hanging around that top side. Roger's the only one down the bottom side of the map right now. T1 all just hiding in the tree line, just trying to keep all the waves pushed in. They really need to force some rotations back here against RSG. Carl does have that Aghanim Scepter you talked about earlier, by the way, John. So they just keep split pushing the lanes that way and indefinitely try to hold out this game. RSG in the meantime, smoked up as 3, trying to find themselves a target, but nobody's showing. In fact, towards the tier 3 tower, they do actually find Cuckoo, who does BKB up immediately. But Rupture is there, Solar Guardian, it will be committed. Cuckoo gonna try for the TP out, the Bushwhack, missed time, isn't good enough. Meanwhile, Gabby has made the jump in. He does have RP available and does commit it eventually. Trying to get down Xiao Yu on the Mars. They do get him out. On MKS they go, but they've got Gabby locked down. The sharpshooter's gonna be enough to take him out. It's MKS. He's more than happy to fight with this Aegis up. Do they try for high ground? I mean, Gabby's
They've
down
got
for
the opening.
75.
No threat of RP, no threat of Solar Guardian, no threat of Overgrowth. The team fight's kind of gone for T1, but they'll take it slow here on RSG. Do have to say, that sustain you get from Blood Rage is kind of ridiculous, Mike. 2% of the target's max HP as pure damage and a heal on Bloodseeker is... yeah, that's pretty whack, especially up against something like, say, a strength-based core, like the Magnus.
Yep.
MKS can sustain himself very well up front. There's nothing to slow him down in that sense as well. Maybe you managed to catch up Carl.
They do. Carl barely gets the BKB off in time. And he's going to be okay to TP out.